Okay, so it's like a year-round approach. You stay ready, right? Now, this program's different. It is a very unique, I like to think, program because we're going to use and optimize all of our energy systems individually. Now, that is not really a new thing. There are gyms out there that like to optimize the work they do for the day based on the energy system optimized. Not new, but the way that we go about it incorporates many different modalities. And there is unifying traits to using the suspension trainer. And also same day using doing Olis and Olympic lifting, right? That's Olympic lifting. Kettlebells and body weight calisthenic maneuver. Similarities of those things: time under tension, the rep count, the heart rate variability, the RPE. We train there. We train for heart rate. And that allows us to be focused on one energy system for the day, for the week, or bi-weekly. We optimize that. We allow it to recoup. We get gains later on. So that's pretty much what we're here to do. That's why this is a little bit different, right, you guys? So my programs are largely customizable. I've been doing energy systems training for many years. Like I mentioned before, since 2007 at the gym. All right. It's a feature of fitness and training that I noticed was very useful a long time ago when we became independent trainers and we trained out of a, concrete, just beat down looking warehouse right here in San Jose. I started to develop this, right? And then later on, when I started to train fighters, boxers inside of Dreamland Boxing in San Jose, this is when I started to develop this system, right? In college and studying, I started to notice some correlations, and that's how I developed this energy system style. So it is very much specificity based, right? And there's a big difference between specificity training and regular training. Specificity is going to mimic the movement of your sport or activity. Regular training typically doesn't. There is a lot of this still, even though we know the benefits lean this way. All right? There's still a lot of this going on. Okay? There are other programs, they tend to be one size, but, that's not for me to judge. We also like to focus on the strengths of our competitors. For me, it was fighters, right? We focus on what you're good at and start there. I notice you're a really powerful fighter. I might say to him or her, we're going to work with what you're good at already. And like if I have a powerful fighter, like let's take Mark for example, he's really good at his cardio and his strength already. So what I did was start with building up his strength and then address his weaknesses in a more punctuated kind of a way. But regular training doesn't really do that. I created this for fighters, like I was just saying, because fighters have structured camps, and you're required to develop all your energy systems if you're a fighter. There's no one energy system that's predominant inside the world of boxing, kickboxing, grappling, all these fight sports, wrestling. And it's cool because there can be a lot of different types of fighters. Some are great at power, some are great at gaining the power, whatever. This is what I want to implore. This isn't conditioning for fighters. You don't have to fight. You can compete. And at some point in your life, you're going to want to compete. That's where we're going to come in handy. That's where I have your back. You can get this work also. Conditioning for competition is 65 or 45 to 65 minutes of work each microcycle. It is based on your heart rate, the variability of such, with a daily goal that we optimize. And we look at RPE on occasion. That's the program, and that's why we're a little bit different. Secret sauce, you want to know what the secret is? It's energy systems training. I told you before, there are 4 energy systems, but we focus on this many right here. And that's mainly because the beta oxidation system is just what you're doing right now, what I'm doing right now, it's firing right now. We don't need to optimize that for training. Okay, the thing that's making us listen or me to record, that's just what you're doing at rest, oxidizing fat. So that's not a thing that we do. But there are, in fact, 3 right there, 3 energy systems that we use during training, right? Here's the rundown. So we're going to take a look at this. Notice right off the top, the longer we go, lipolysis, beta oxidation. This is the one that's happening right now. Like you're listening to this, I don't know, maybe you're working out. Me, I'm recording this, right? This is what's happening right now. Just low, semi-latent fat metabolism for energy to keep my eyes blinking, my heart beating, my stomach digesting and churning. We introduce exercise, a lot of very interesting, important biological functions start to take over. Okay? You have to remember that the remnants or constitutive end results of this energy system right here fuel this energy system. The leavings or remnants of this energy system fuel this one. And so you notice like right here, they're all close together. Well, they're not all active at onset. Okay? Some are more active than others. This is typically a stepwise process. Typically. All right? Typically is a stepwise process. This has to run its course to feed this. And so too for this and this. All right? This is a creatine system. Early, like a few seconds. Maybe it ends in about 30 seconds. Go into full anaerobic metabolism. That's when our heart rate and our VO, our oxygen consumption, are pretty high. We're using a lot of power. Okay? That doesn't last forever. Aerobically, and we have MMA programs out there that stress working the aerobic system because it gives you a deeper wellspring before anaerobic glycolysis kicks. But look at this. Way out here, hours, 1 hour of work. We're here doing cardio essentially. And this arrow represents the point at which in the workout or in the given set where we can't sustain the same intensity and or in this case with this graph power, and it switches from aerobic. The crossover point where heart rate and VO2 don't match anymore. That's a threshold. So these are just some remnants, or excuse me, a little briefing on the nature of biological energy systems. So the more power down here we use first off, mainly fast twitch muscle fibers, no matter what. Even if we're going to start a marathon, they're active, aren't they? They quit after a while, and they need a lot of time to recover. A lot of time to recover. So if you lift optimally, maximally, hard, you might just stay in this zone, right? Well, the next minute, 2 minutes, high rest period, comparatively, it will take to recover if you do something very hard and intense and use that creatine system. It's actually creatine phosphate system, right? The longer it takes for you to recover before you can use it again. So that's one way we're going to work this energy system. We're only going to do things that have us optimize fast twitch for 40-ish seconds, 5 to 40 seconds, onset to 40 seconds. Well, if that move optimizes, and how are we going to know it optimizes? We're going to check our heart rate. We're going to look at our heart rate very closely. We don't have the heart HRM nearby. We're going to talk about RPE. How do you feel? I'm going to ask my fighters, my competitors, and my athletes on a scale from 1 to 10 RPE. How I'm feeling. Do I have to hunch over and gasp? Or can I continue to go? 7 versus a 10. Okay. Well, let's say inside of that workout, we start climbing to 4 minutes. That's a little long, but 3 minutes. It's still anaerobic. So both of these are anaerobic. Well, I now am using still fast twitch muscle fibers, right? They're bigger. They have less mitochondria, less room for oxygen, right? But now my body needs a ton of oxygen. It needs more oxygen than I have. My lungs can pull out of the air. Needs more. So what happens is my body will check down to a different steady state heart rate at this crossover point right here. I won't be able to produce power, and I'll be able to then recoup the oxygen, increase my stroke volume. I increase my blood vessel size, how much oxygen I'm taking in, and the depth, the lung capacity. My lung volume will also have to increase, so I'll start breathing deeper. The oxygen in my blood will have to get more saturated, and that's going to help me sustain for a very long time. That's purely anaerobic. That's what you and I like to call cardio. Okay? When we do hit intervals, we're treading right here. This is like where the hit intervals exist. High intensity interval training is right around here, where we keep bouncing back and forth over this crossover point to perform for 40 minutes. So the whole workout becomes anaerobic cardio. And if we were to start doing this for hours on end, then it becomes beta oxidation. Now, let me just throw this in. If you think like, oh, you can just go on forever. No. I mean, what do you call the one? It's gamma, alpha uric, alpha. It's GABA. Okay? It's GABA. That's going to decrease. Gamma aminobutyric acid, all right? Mouthful. It inhibits body from performing physical activities when there is a lack of metabolism after long-term exercise. And that would actually shut your body down. All right. Let's move forward. Let's talk about the needs of a competitor. How we assess the skill and the need of a fighter and or competitor. All right, because that is a need.